Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we are digging into a really fascinating question. Why do certain people just seem, naturally built to excel in highly specific areas? We've all seen it, right? That one person who can tear down and fix an engine without ever glancing at a manual, or maybe someone who picks up a complex new language in a matter of weeks, while the rest of us just kind of struggle with those exact same tasks. Well, today we're looking at the psychology behind these special abilities in our explainer titled Aptitude, Nature, and Measurement.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. Beyond general intelligence, 2. Defining aptitude, 3. Aptitude versus interest, 4. The recipe for success, 5. Measuring special abilities, and finally, 6. The differential aptitude tests. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Beyond general intelligence.
Now, if you've studied any psychology, you already know that general intelligence tests assess our overall general mental ability. Basically, our capacity to adapt and learn. But that really doesn't tell the whole story, does it? Think about it. Why do some highly intelligent students completely struggle with various specific skills? Well, psychologists consistently found that people with very similar general intelligence levels actually differed wildly when it came to picking up particular knowledge or tasks. Having a high general IQ simply wasn't a magic ticket to success in every single field.
To put that into perspective, just think about your own classmates. When you hit a wall with a really tough math problem, you instinctively know to turn to Aman for help. But if you're having trouble parsing a heavy piece of literature, you're going to consult Avinash. And if you need someone to perform at the annual function, you'd probably request Shabnam to sing, right? Oh, and you'd absolutely turn to John when your bike breaks down. Each of these people possesses totally unique, specific skills that general intelligence alone simply cannot explain.
Which brings us to Section 2, Defining Aptitude.
So what exactly explains the unique abilities of classmates like Aman and John? Well, it's called aptitude. Basically, aptitude refers to special abilities in a particular field of activity. Technically speaking, it's a combination of characteristics that indicates an individual's capacity to acquire some specific knowledge or skill after training. And the absolute keywords to remember here are capacity and after training. See, aptitude isn't necessarily about what you can flawlessly do right this very second. It's much deeper than that. It represents a powerful underlying potential. With the proper training, these latent abilities can literally be considerably enhanced.
Moving on to Section 3, Aptitude versus Interest.
Now, in everyday conversation, we tend to mix these two concepts up all the time, but scientifically, they are entirely different things. Interest is simply your preference for engaging in a particular activity over others. It's just what you actually like to do. Aptitude, as we just learned, is your underlying potential to perform that activity. So you might absolutely love the idea of a certain job, say you really want to be a professional singer, but you might completely lack the aptitude for it. And on the flip side, you might have maximum potential to do a specific job brilliantly, but have absolutely zero desire or interest in actually doing it. In both of those cases, the outcome is just not going to be satisfactory.
That perfectly leads us into Section 4, the recipe for success. Because to be truly successful in a particular field, you really must possess both. Let's look at a practical example. Say you have a student with high mechanical aptitude, meaning they naturally have the potential to grasp complex physical and mechanical concepts. If you combine that underlying potential with a strong interest in engineering, that student is so much more likely to become a highly successful mechanical engineer. It's a brilliantly simple equation, really. It proves that a truly satisfactory outcome, real success, requires both your potential and your preference working hand in hand.
All right, Section 5, Measuring Special Abilities.
So, psychologists don't just guess at someone's potential. They actually use highly selected, standardized tests to predict an individual's future performance. And these aptitude tests generally come in two primary flavors: independent, which are highly specialized tests, and multiple, which are generalized test batteries. Let's break down how each one works.
First up, we have independent aptitude tests. Prominent examples here include assessments for clerical aptitude, mechanical aptitude, numerical aptitude, and typing aptitude. As you can probably guess, these are incredibly specialized. Their entire purpose is to measure just one single specific area of ability. For instance, if a company only cares about how fast and accurately you can type, a typing aptitude test is exactly the tool for the job. It measures that one specific thing. On the flip side, we have multiple aptitude tests.
These exist in the form of test batteries. Some of the most well-known examples include the Differential Aptitude Tests, or DAT, the General Aptitude Tests Battery, or GATB, and the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, which is commonly known as the ASVAB. Basically, these batteries are designed to measure your aptitude across several separate but somewhat homogeneous areas, all at the exact same time. It gives a much broader, more comprehensive profile of what you're actually capable of.
And that brings us to Section 6, the Differential Aptitude Tests.
Out of all of those, the DAT is the one most commonly used in educational settings around the world. But here's the thing about psychological assessments. They really need to account for cultural context to be accurate. Because of this, the DAT features a prominent Indian adaptation that was developed by J.M. Ojha. Adapting these tests is absolutely crucial to make sure they're fairly and accurately measuring potential within specific environments. And actually, just as a side note, several other aptitude tests have also been developed in India for measuring things like scientific, scholastic, literary, clerical, and teaching aptitudes.
When you look at the sheer scope of the DAT, it really is brilliant. It's made up of 8 totally independent subtests, covering distinct areas. We're talking verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, and abstract reasoning, along with clerical speed and accuracy. And it doesn't stop there. It also tests mechanical reasoning, space relations, spelling, and language usage. By assessing all of these different areas simultaneously, the DAT gives educators a really complete, structured picture of a student's underlying potential across a huge variety of cognitive tasks.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. Do you have both the aptitude and the interest for your chosen path? Remember that recipe for success we talked about? Having knowledge of your aptitude is amazing because it allows us to predict future performance. But without genuine interest, that potential might just remain completely untapped. So take a moment to reflect on your own specific skills, what you genuinely love doing, and how those two things intersect. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep exploring your full potential.